But if you put it on the courier, oh, middle lane. Suddenly, Amo gets a Kinyuka onto the Earthshaker. Earthshaker not respecting the Queen of Pain's nuke damage, and that's a mistake he won't make again.
Well, I always wanted to become a professional player because I've been playing for a very long time. I've been playing for about 11 years. I've been playing since before Anthrax even started this game. Well, not really started, but I've been playing since before Anthrax got into his first competitive team in Pakistan. So I've always wanted to become a professional player, but because of time constraints, because I quit in the middle and I keep quitting now and then, I never really had time for that. But seeing that the Dota scene was becoming so big, I wanted to be a part of it. So the easiest way to do that was basically to just walk in, start casting a little bit. I began to cast games around 8 to 9 months back in the inaugural season 1, where I basically met the Prodigy, and he asked me to cast with him because we didn't have any other caster for the team. We were like, sure, why not? I should give a hand at it. The first game I ever casted was horrible. It was chaotic. It was maybe a few people remember this person. It was Professor Snake. He was also named called Omeri, I believe. He picked a Luna and he went Moonglyphs first, and I'm just at that stage I'm just thinking, okay, well, stay this as a caster, and I'm panicking. I couldn't follow team fights at all. It was fun. It was definitely fun. Right now I actually really enjoy Incognito because Incognito always like give it either their best or they give really clowny games. Because either way it's really good, fun, entertaining game. And sometimes Amo drops by, sometimes it's Phaser, TP, sometimes it's Dre, Tor, all of these consistent players. They're all really good and they all keep dropping by on Incognito, so that's pretty cool. PK Dota is good. It's a step in the right direction, but unfortunately it's very disorganized. It's in very haphazard. It's in disarray, which is unfortunately true about all organizations right now. I'm a part of it, and and there's still points where I can see there's a huge room for improvement, and it isn't necessarily doing very well right now. I think it's taking steps in the right direction, but I don't think it's taking them quick enough, and it's going to be left behind if they don't do things about it. Not by other organizations, but just by the international scene. We're getting further and further behind as Pakistanis, and even though we do have some teams that are kind of close to breaking in, it's not going to happen until some organizations step up. Who is my favorite international caster? If you asked me this 2 months ago, I would have hands down said Toby or LD, because Toby and LD both, they give really good hype casting, and at the same time they're able to follow team fights perfectly. I have never seen Toby or LD miss anything in the team fight, and if they do miss it, at least they don't. They keep fluency. They don't break it. As far as I think casting duo would be a better question, and I would definitely go for Cinderin and Sunsfan, who are really fun to watch. And I shouldn't be saying this, I really shouldn't be saying this. Caster who I like. There is absolutely no caster who I like in the PK Dota scene. Prody's okay, Prody's not very good either. I abhor quite a lot of them actually. I don't like Arrow's casting for reasons that I have told him. I don't like Dr. Virus's casting. I honestly don't like anyone's casting at all in the slightest. It's actually something I do. I sit down with friends and we put on the old PK Dota matches and we just laugh at the casting together. It's a bad thing to do. It's my organization. They're friends of mine, but I do it anyway, unfortunately. What is the community's feedback? Our community is very mixed. By that, I'm saying our community is as retarded as Twitch and Reddit, if not more so. Probably more so. But some give me overwhelming responses, some give me very negative responses. I honestly don't particularly care about either, because I know by comparison, when matches come up, what I really like about the community's feedback though is that when matches come up, a lot of them do specifically ask me if I'm casting the tournament, if I'm casting the matches, so that's always really nice to have. Am I only casting for PK? No, I'm not actually. I'm casting the Joint Dota leagues. I'm casting IXDL. I cast the European Elite League. I cast a lot of things. PK Dota, I barely cast actually. PK Dota is probably the least I cast. Okay, so do I see any other Pakistani player in the international tournament anytime soon? Um, I'm not sure if I should be talking about this, but there's a new team that's going to be formed. It's going to have Rush in it, it's going to have Aeon in it, and a few other people. So I'm not going to tell the full roster, but it's going to be a really good star-studded team, and I think that has the potential to break into the international scene. Not any significant tournament though. I'm I'm giving them a lot of tournaments. If you're lucky, you might see them play this weekend in the Gigabyte Challenge. I might be casting that. So if they actually register in time, then I'll be casting that, and they might hopefully make it to the grid. But I think we're going to see them because they have time and they have dedication. They have the raw talent that you need. And I'll probably like convince them into letting me help them into actually getting to the point. But other than that, they're all the thing is that Pakistani players don't know how to break into this talent. But see, internet issues. WAPTA isn't really an issue. Everyone has backup power supplies. And finally, possibly most importantly, no one actually realizes the steps that they need to take to go into professional Dota properly. And because it is a lot of work, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work. But these boys who I just mentioned, they're willing to do it, and I think they might make it. Any tips that I want to give to the new recruits? I'm gonna assume this means casting, because I have no idea why you would ask me for tips as a player. Well, I mean, I know how to break into the scene, but that's besides the point. I'm gonna assume this means casting. For one thing, tell Arrow to take your trial cast, because I'm not going to pass you. Like, if you want to join the PK Dota organization, get Arrow to take your trial cast. It's a lot easier to pass through Arrow than through me. Work on your camera work. Once again, I'm not going to explain what I mean by that, because it's a very lengthy process, but camera work is a very in-depth thing. It's not just that, okay, I'm going to catch all the kills. Work on your camera work. Work on coherence in team fight, because I don't actually cast much anymore, so I sometimes get lost in team fights. That shouldn't be happening to you. Work on being able to talk during pauses. There's a lot of these little things that you need to work on, and most importantly, try to get good internet, because if you can't stream, then you can't cast. Right now, we have a lot of casters in Pakistan who are casting tournaments through Dota TV. That is completely useless, and it has absolutely no future. I can explain that if Blitz wants me to, but I'm not sure if would. He'll type it out. But regardless, if you can't stream for casting, you have no future in casting. You can cast as much as you want on Dota TV. It doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to do it professionally later on. If you're just doing it for fun, then it's perfectly fine. Go for it. I respect that. Doing it as a hobby is a very commendable thing. But unless you can stream, you have no future in it. That's pretty much it. Do you want me to explain the streaming thing? Okay, so Anthony? Okay. The thing is that how the Dota scene works is that you don't actually make money off of selling Dota TV tickets. You don't make money off of LANs. You actually make a heavy loss off of LANs. And as a studio, as a casting studio, which I assume is you need to have a studio for tournaments before anything happens in terms of monetary advancements. So how Dota works is that you get sponsors. Sponsors pay you to advertise them, and that is the majority of your revenue. Until that happens in Pakistan, we won't have a professional Dota 2 scene because it isn't feasible to make an income. Um, Ad revenue is also a thing from Twitch, not that big of a deal, but thing is, what you have to offer sponsors is viewership. Dota TV doesn't give you that flexibility. You can't play ads on Dota TV. You can't put an overlay on Dota TV with the sponsors' names. And what they really look at is Twitch numbers. So if you want to cast for a living, you need to be in a casting studio. To do that, you need to be able to stream to Twitch. You need to be able to stream 720p to be in a casting studio, which is a large roadblock that I'm facing right now. I declined a few studio invitations because I lost the capabilities of doing full HD 720p and 1080p streaming a little while back. So if you can't do that, I would definitely recommend that keep in mind you're only doing it as a hobby. Eventually, you might get the internet, which allows you to do so. Eventually, you might be able to make a living off of it. I'll give you that. But without streaming, the Dota scene will not advance in Pakistan. Without streaming, we're not going to be able to make a revenue off of it. And unless you actually make, because a lot of people in the scene think that, oh no, we just need more exposure. That's not actually true. We have a lot of exposure. I can go get you sponsors right now. Give me 3 weeks, I will get your tournament sponsored. I will get you more prize pool than you would normally expect from Pakistani tournaments, like easy 100k prize pool or so. The thing is, you need a sustainable revenue for the Dota scene to get going, and that's not going to happen until you can actually stream, until you accumulate an average viewership of at least 1,000 to 1,500-ish viewers. That's when the scene will actually get going, and until that happens, until you can actually stream, you won't be able to accomplish any of that. That's about it. Before I go, I'm going to my Twitter. You can follow me over at www.twitter.com/@TeaTimeDota and my Twitch, www.twitch.tv/@TeaTimeDota. I'm going to be casting a few of the games that the team I just mentioned, the team with that's going to be made with Russia in it. I'm going to be casting a few of their games if they qualify for the bigger tournaments. So be sure to tune in at some point. Thank you for the interview, Blitz, and www.pkdota.com for hiring me despite me flaming them all the time.